Good morning, afternoon, or evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mikhail, and welcome to yet another Misfits Racing League broadcast. This evening we have the Belgian Grand Prix around the legendary Spa-Francorchamps for the Americas division. And joining me, it's been a while, but he's back, my friends, my fellow countrymen, Stars. Stars, how you doing on what is for us a lovely, lovely Wednesday morning?
Macau, it certainly is. Birds are chirping, sun is out. I'm having a great morning, and yes, thank you very much. I am glad to be back joining you in the box for, like you mentioned, the race, which is going to be the race of the century. I can tell you that much.
Yes, we certainly hope so. Just experiencing a few uh technical issues. I see the drop frames, guys. Don't worry. We'll try and get that sorted as best as we can in a little bit. But circuit on your screens now. The Spa-Francorchamps circuit, 7 kilometers, the longest circuit on the F1 calendar, 19 turns, and some very, very historic turns at that, A stars.
Yeah, certainly, Macau. There's obviously you've only got turn one straight away off the bat. You've seen so many crashes down through the years in real life F1. So yeah, it's going to make for a very very interesting race.
Okay, so just let me know if in the chat if the frame issues have ceased, as we do go have a quick look at the calendar. So this is round number 14 of things getting us underway. Around Spa for the 14th round. We've already been to Australia and Bahrain, Vietnam, China, the Netherlands, Spain, Monaco, Baku, Canada, France, Austria, Britain, Hungary. Last week, Hungary, very, very, very historic race for us here at the MRL. And then we will be going to the Temple of Speed next week for Monza round number 15, followed by Singapore, Russia, Japan, USA, Mexico, Brazil, and Abu Dhabi. So if any of these guys want to have any shot at catching our current championship leader, Becky B, now's the time where they really need to start, pulling their head in and really trying to get maximize on those results, as he is on a little bit of a shaky form as of late. We will now quickly have a look at the standings before we get things underway around Spa. So Becky B, currently the championship leader, like I just mentioned, is currently sitting on 100, well, not 100, 217 points. A clear leader out in front, clear favorite. Uh, yeah, he's clearly out in front by quite a significant margin to his teammate, actually, of Alex Yamamoto with 135 points in second place. Rhapsody, the Mercedes, are still sitting snug in that third place with 122 points, and BTFU for AlphaTauri completes the top four with 106. See just close behind him for McLaren with 100 points after a solid second place finish last time out in Hungary. Angel with 65 points in sixth place. Zamas in seventh with the 58 points. Casquito in eighth place with 43. Maxime B in the second McLaren car with 34 points in ninth place. And Karma with 27 points in 10th place. Holtzman, the man of last week, with that shock win around Hungary. He shoots all the way up into 11th place with 25 points ahead of Tomahawk TV for the Racing Point squad with 23. Then we have Fizzimon, Fisher, Max Senna, Gabox, Twinkie, Cherry, Striffium, and Gorziak will complete the standings. Constructor standings, Williams clearly out in front with 352 points, followed by AlphaTauri with 214, and then Renault with 158 points in third. And with that, Stars, I do believe we are almost to get ready to get things underway here at Spa.
Certainly are, Macau. The drivers are readying up as we speak. We do have a couple of reserves in for tonight, I do believe, so it should make for a interesting race, especially the full-time drivers who will be missing out. Will, like you mentioned before, it's going to affect their championship, and I mean, it's only going to help Becky B in the long run. But I did, unfortunately, like you did mention at the start of the stream, miss out on last week's amazing race, which I did look back. Ladies and gentlemen, if you did miss it, there is a little video which the Misfits released, the Zero to Hero by the Holtzman. It is worth the watch. It was an unbelievable ending to conclude proceedings around Hungary, and unfortunately, like I said, I did miss out on it. But yeah, wow, Mikhail, you seem like you had a good time commentating that one.
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely one of the most exciting races that I've had the pleasure of commentating. We actually had quite the thriller later this evening. If any of our lovely viewers were able to catch that Tier 3 race, and where a similar situation happened, where we
Yeah,
saw the likes of Grade Goran, and I do believe it was Maka as well, and Damon Place, the main three that I remember of that one, absolutely shredding up this circuit on the wet compound tires. I'm sure all of the drivers here in the lobby are keen to have a fully dry affair for this one, but man, oh man, is it so important to be on the right tires at the right time, and it's so difficult, especially in the cockpit of that car, regardless if you have an engineer helping you from the sidelines, to really know what the right tire is. We saw it last week here in Americas with Hungary, of course, Holtzman. We saw it in Tier 3 earlier this evening with Grenade Goran, Damon Plays, and Maka. Hey, Stars.
yeah, no, 100%. It was an amazing ending to the race. Unfortunately, Dirk Chocolate there, who was leading for the majority of that final stint there, obviously got taken on the line. Came down to, I think, P3 or something like that. But yeah, I mean, Spa, you never know what the weather's going to do. You know, you'll rock up at 9 in the morning when you go watch the real life cars go around the track. It'll be a beautiful sunny day, and then 30 minutes later, it's going to be absolutely pouring down with rain. And it's the same in the game. The game tries to mimic the weather as best as it can and give you that rain percentage. So the drivers, hopefully, they've done their practice. I mean, the track's hard enough to drive around when it's dry, let alone wet. So yeah, it should make for an interesting race.
Well, I'm sure that all of these drivers will be glad to know that the sun is shining, at least for the wonderful 18-minute qualifying session that we will have preceding the event. And we do, in fact, have a couple of reserves on this grid. So we'll run you through who is going to be fronting this grid. We have quite a few fast pirates here this evening. So Gorziak in the Mercedes, currently first on the timing tower. Maxime B for McLaren, the full-time driver, the Canadian, trying to get as many points as he can for that Constructors' Championship. Arnhill in the Racing Point, Vischer in the AlphaTauri, Becky B in that Williams car. Again, the championship leader, he's actually out first on the circuit, so we'll have a little look with our current championship leader as he makes his way on his outlap around the very long Spa-Francorchamps. We have a CRG Chris, a very, very familiar name to those outside the MRL, but actually this is his MRL debut and quite a fast driver, so we'll have to keep an eye on him. He's filling in over at Racing Point, I do believe, for Tom Hawk. BTFU for AlphaTauri, currently 7th on the timing tower. Cjos for McLaren, currently 8th. Zamis in 9th for Ferrari, and Yama rounds out the top 10 this on the timing tower for Williams. Twinkie for Renault in 11th. Chiri in 12th for Haas, who's currently out on the medium tires. Very, very interesting to see that one. Cosquito in 13th for Renault. Karma in 14th for the Haas. And then we have some idiot. Cody is back on this Americas grid after some very, very dominant performances at the start of the season. Back in that Red Bull. So should be interesting to see how he fares against our championship leader. Fizzimon in the second Red Bull car will line up alongside him, the full-time driver, after he also did that amazing, amazing strategic call last time out in Hungary. Holtzman in 17th for Alfa Romeo, Rhapsody in 18th for Mercedes, Gabox in 19th for the Alfa Romeo as well, and then Striffium for the Ferrari, one of the only two drivers left in the pits, which is actually the two at the bottom of the standings. But now Stars will ride on board with the championship leader with Becky B. Take us through the rest of this lap of Spa.
You can see Becky B comes up to Radion. So we have 7 kilometers round Spa, Macau, 19 corners. He is currently on the Camel Straight, and my goodness, it's about 2,100 meters all the way down into Le Com, and you can see he's got a purple sector 1 because he's the only person to set 1 as he goes through the corners there. Uses most of the track all the way down into Rivage. Probably one of the trickiest corners to be able to pull up the car, turn number 8 there, as he goes all the way through into turn number 9, which is called No Name, ladies and gentlemen. Not too sure why, probably because it doesn't have a name, as he makes his way down the hill into Puan there. Does go down 1 gear there. Obviously it's a little bit safer to do so. Sometimes if you fling the car to the left there, you can get a lot of oversteer and potentially beat yourself, like we did see in tier number 3 this morning with Linus. As you can see, he's taken the middle sector quite nicely through there, so this is already looking like a pretty good banker here, Macau. He uses most of the track there, but keeps the car hugged to the right of the track there to basically limit the amount of distance he needs to drive to obviously try and get the fastest possible time he can as his banker this evening, as he comes all the way up the hill into the bus stop chicane. Like I said, it's been a pretty clean lap so far. Very little wheel spin, very little oversteer. One of the trickiest parts of the circuit to get the power down, and he does cross a line at 141.1, which I do actually believe is quicker than Tier 2's pole. So, sorry, Tier 3's pole this morning. So that's a very quick lap.
Yes, certainly, Becky B, not disappointing. It's been quite a safe lap, but it is quite still a quick lap nonetheless. The 2 AlphaTauris now lining up right behind him so far on this timing tower, with Vischer a 141.4 and BTFU a 141.7. The only other 2 drivers to get into the 141s, with Becky B's teammate Yama just outside with a 1 minute 42.036 as Twinkie comes across the line for the Renaults. 141.7. Fizzymon 42.085. The times are really starting to come in thick and fast, but let's see where somebody will go. Well, he won't be going anywhere because he's invalidated his first attempt, and he will be trying once again. Karma taking his way around, or making his way around the bus stop chicane on the medium compound tires. What's the time going to be? It's a 1 minute 42.341, and that is a pretty decent time for the medium stars.
Yeah, it definitely is there. He should be quite happy with that. Probably just learning the track as on board with Rhapsody as he comes through the bus stop chicane and opens up the DRS. Goes to the line there. It is another 141. Drivers are coming in with these 141, so it's already looking like a pretty tight grid here, Macau.
Yes, CRG Chris making his presence known in that runner-up spot. Only 5 milliseconds separate him and the championship leader on the front row with a 1 minute 41.142. So very, very nice to see. I do believe... And somebody has invalidated once again, Stars. I don't know exactly where he's done that, but he's done it before No Name, so he's done it in the first half of the lap.
Yeah, he might have done it just coming out of Lecom maybe. I do believe that is all the drivers who have completed their first flying laps. I think the next driver who's actually going to start is going to be Gauzy. Yeah, well, not anymore. He loses the rear over the curb coming out of the bus stop chicane, so he'll be coming back in there. I do actually have a quick note on Gauzy Macau. He is in the number 1 car this week. He's decided to go in Hamilton's car, so he's wanting to make a point this week. He's wanting to catch that gap between him and Striffian.
Yeah, certainly a very, very bold statement. Striffian making his way around into turn number 8 as we speak. The number 94 Ferrari. And it was a tough race for Striffian last week. It definitely had some points in the bag, but ended up spinning at the final, or on the final lap at turn 5. As we were busy with watching the Holtz and Fizzymon make their way through the grid. So not a lot of cars out there on the circuit at the moment. If you are tuning in, welcome. This is MRL Americas Division. Round number 14 around the legendary Spa-Francorchamps. My name is Mikhail, joining me as my fellow countrymen stars, and we just want to give firstly a lovely shout out to our lovely viewers, I saw we had a couple of raids early in the stream, so thank you for supporting the Misfits. And we'd also like to thank our partners, Next Level Racing, for supporting the Misfits Racing League. If you're looking to take your sim racing experience to the next level, !NLR in the chat. They've got some great sim rigs for you to check out, regardless of your price point and regardless of what you're interested in. Formula racing, GT racing, they have both of those. So !NLR, and we thank them for helping us grow the sim racing community. But I think, so it's time for a Striffium Hot Lap.
It certainly is, Macau. He's gone through the first part of Sector 1 quite clean. It's looking like an already good lap. Obviously, he got the DRS wide open. Goes all the way up into 323 kilometers an hour. It sets a purple Sector 1. Okay, this looks like it's going to be hot. Takes through the turn 4, 5, and 6 very nicely into Rouge once more. It does actually handle that one quite well, like I did mention. Very hard to pull up the car there. Uses all the curb out of no name, so it looks like Striffium's really flying at the moment. Holds it in 7th gear, which I currently prefer instead of going down one, so he does take that quite nicely. As you can see, he's using all of the track in Macau, so he's really throwing this car around into the from the Ferrari guys have obviously set up the car perfectly, well balanced there. It's a medium downforce track that does suit Striffium himself quite well. It does set a middle Sector 2 purple sector once more, so that's 2 purple sectors in Macau. This could be a pole lap, I think. This is already looking like something special out of the Ferrari driver here as he makes his way all the way up the hill into the bus stop chicane. He's only got one more difficult traction zone to get through, and then that is his first flying lap completed. Pulls up the car very nicely indeed. Is a little bit scared to get on the throttle there because it is, like I did mention, very hard. Keeps the car to the right of the track, DRS wide open. What's going to do? It's a 142.625, so the game was lying to me, I'm afraid. But still, it is a lap on the board.
Yeah, it's not too far behind his teammate either. Only 3 or just over 300ths of a second between the two Ferraris. So we don't need to go checking their engines anytime soon. CEST currently on a lap, making his way through turn 8. And yeah, there's quite a few drivers out there on their second runs. Becky B on his second run, BTFU as well, Yammer as well, Casquito, Gablox, just to name a few. And actually Zamas as well is currently on his second attempt. But we'll have a look at this McLaren, see what he's able to do coming through turns 12 and 13 stars.
Yes, coming through 12, 13 and 14, so obviously he wants to be setting a lap relatively soon here, so he wants to obviously keep this one valid. It's looking like he might get a little bit of a tow here from Maxime B. Also has a bit of desync issues, but the tow has worked perfectly here out of the McLaren boys. Look at this, all the way up the hill. He's even trying to...
Oh, he tapped him!
They've touched!
They tapped him, Maxime's out!
Maxime B is gone! So the McLaren boys have got a lot to work on. Disregard what I said there, and now he's run deep into the final... Oh no, that's just desync. Never mind. Yeah, well anyway, he's going to set the lap. It is going to be P3 provisional of a 141.3, but Maxime B is out.
But at what cost? But at what cost, as we just jumped back on board with Yammer, just to get a look at Maxime's car, and it was just stranded there at the inside of Blanchimont. That is, ladies and gentlemen, that's not how you want to be doing the tow, and Stars and I are very familiar with how tows can go wrong here at Spa. Hopefully not a precursor for Sunday. Yeah, Maxime B out of this session, yet unable to set a lap time as well. So he will, assuming all these drivers, Some Idiot, Arnhel, and Gorziak all set lap times, he will be starting from the back of this grid, and that is certainly not what he wants not how he wants to start his campaign around Spa, Stars.
No, it definitely isn't. Just got Twinkie who's going to cross the line here. He was up by 1.5 tenths, finishes 3 tenths up there, puts himself into P4. So Twinkie's coming out with a bit of speed today, Macau.
And he certainly is. The grid's really starting to tighten up as we were looking at McLaren's attempting to do a tow. Becky B did improve on his time. First driver into the 1 minute 40s, a 1 minute 40.916. I do believe that is 3 tenths off the current MRL track record here, set by Ben the Bear last season. Rhapsody coming across the line up into third place, a 1 minute 41.372, 3 milliseconds ahead of CEST. So CEST isn't even on that podium anymore for taking out his teammate. Sure, the stewards might need to have a look at that one. That's one of the racing points coming across there. That's Angel about to start a flying lap. I think that's the Williams of Yama also coming in to the pit lane. We'll see anyone else who is currently on a lap. I do believe Samus might be trying again. He's got the ERS on through turn number 16. Then Blanchimont turn 17. So we might see the Ferrari driver finish a lap. I'm not 100% sure, but we'll see what happens as he makes his way through the bus stop. And now he's going to head right back into the pit lane. So we'll have to find somebody else.
Yeah, I'm just having a look through at the moment. Looks like most of the drivers are coming back in from their previous second runs, getting ready for the last run there, because obviously you need a bit more time than normal around here. It's a very long circuit, like we have discussed before.
Do you believe Angel is, I think, actually the only driver who is on a flying lap currently? He's making his way through pool on turns 10 and 11, but he's run wide. He's run wide between two Apex's stars, and that is going to not count for the racing points. So he is leaving. He's doing a one-shot qualifying, as is Gauzieg and some idiots. So very, very interesting to see what times they're able to do under the pressure.
Yeah, I think some idiot is potentially looking at doing the medium strategy, or even starting from the back of the grid. He's had some races, like you mentioned at the start of the stream, starting from last, working his way back up into first. He's obviously got a lot of pace, especially on this grid here. So I think he might just be wanting to challenge himself a little bit. I mean, it's not really fun, is it, Mikhail, when you're leading from the start of the race all the way to the end and win by 30 seconds like you do most weekends? But you obviously seem like you have a good time doing it.
I wish it was just that easy, but unfortunately I've not been able to experience that. Thus far. Actually, the only time I really did experience that was at Bahrain, but we won't talk about that one. And currently, one of the only cars out there on the track, it is the AlphaTauri of Vischer. As we get a nice off-board shot, you can see a few other cars heading out onto the circuit, as there is just about 3 minutes left in the session, so these guys need to get a bit of a move on if they want to ensure that they have enough time to set their final runs. But Vischer making his way through Eau Rouge, now Radion, keeping it nice and stable. Yama pulling over to the right-hand side, making sure not to give the AlphaTauri a tow down the Camel Straight, which is actually something we haven't really seen. We saw the attempt to tow through the final sector, but nothing down the Camel Straight, which is a bit odd to see. But Vischer making his way through Lake Com at the exit of turn 7, a little bit shaky there on the curb, now into turn number 8. Keeps the car nice and stable, nice and rotated as well. He's cut in a bit too much rotation though for No Name, so that is an aborted lap. And I hope he has more fuel in that car, because
yeah, that's it for him if he doesn't.
Yeah, that's a bit unfortunate.
So next car to start a lap, Macau, is going to be the championship leader, provisional pole sitter, Williams' #1 driver. It is Becky B. He is 3/10, like you mentioned, off Ben the Bear's Hall of Fame record. So, Macau, what's he going to do?
Well, we'll find out in just under 2 minutes' time. 100 meters for La Source, turn number 1, keeping it in 3rd gear. A little bit of a correction there on the exit. I don't think it would have cost him too much, but certainly not ideal for one of the most important exits on the entire track, going through Eau Rouge and Radio now. And 8th gear, DRS wide open as we go down the Camel Straight. It's quite hard to find and gain time in this first sector if you've done it correctly before. And he's found the tiniest bit of time. It's a purple first sector, out by 8 milliseconds, but he's really having to ring that car around Lake Com, turns 5, 6, and 7 into turn 8 now. Keeping it in 3rd gear, careful with the exit curbing. Doesn't really attack a No Name as much as he would have liked, and that he's run slightly wide at the exit. And that is one of the corners that you really have to watch the track limits for, because, well, we saw it there on stream, ladies and gentlemen. He ran the tiniest bit wide. But that was enough for the game to say, nah, you cut the track. You have to try again.
Yep, not wrong at all. Just on board with Casquito, our next driver in line. as he comes to the end of his Sector 2 lap. It has looked pretty clean. I did miss a split on the first one at the moment, but he's up by 2/10 at the moment, so that's going to propel him about 4 positions up the leaderboard if he continues to hold this as he makes his way all the way up the hill through Blanchimont. He is looking like a quite nice lap. Obviously, the low fuel with the cars prepped for their final run keeps it in. Well, keeps it to the right-hand side of the track before he goes to the left. It goes through the bus stop chicane quite nicely, actually. A lot of oversteer, though. A lot of wheel spin. That's going to cost him. And yeah, oh, he's decided. Okay. So the games are coming out, Macau. He's in P9. He's hoping people will improve and he'll start on those medium compound tyres.
Well, the checkered flag has dropped, so Visha, Becky B, Casquito, and Stryfium will not be improving. A little bit of a retire there on the track, but he should be out of the way well before any cars come across the line. Zamis all the way up into P3 for the Scuderia. Might have to check that Ferrari engine. A 1 minute 41.291. Very, very nicely done from him. Yama, he can't improve. He's going to stay in 12th with a 1 minute 41.685. Will now jump on board with the Mercedes of Rhapsody as he makes his way through the bus stop chicane. What time is the Mercedes driver going to do? The Brazilian, he can't improve. He will stay in 5th place with a 1 minute 41.372. CEST, the driver that's 3 milliseconds off. Can he find the 3 milliseconds that he needs to dethrone? And he can, and more. He can find a little bit more as well there, Stars. A 1 minute 41.051. About a 10th between himself and Chris is going to head into the pit lane. So the best he can hope for is 3rd position. Karma making his way through Blanchimont as well. Fizzimon. Well, he does improve up into 13th, but that's about it for the Red Bull driver. BTFU making his way across the finishing line now. Can he improve? No, not quite. I think that's now next is one of the Haas cars. It is Karma. Can he improve? He improves to the front row. A 1 minute 41.020, 300ths of a second ahead of
what a lap.
CEST. That is an amazing lap from the Haas driver. And I do believe that that is our grid for the Belgian Grand Prix Americas division.
It is indeed, Macau, and just want to point out that I was on board with some idiot. He actually went pole. He purposely invalidated once more, so it looks like he does want to do that. Last the first challenge once more, but yeah, he was on pole by 3:10.
Yeah, a very, very fast Red Bull starting at the back of this grid. But it is the championship leader, Becky B, on pole position at 1 minute 40.916. The only driver to get into the 1 minute 40s. Karma very, very close to it. 141.020. He will line up alongside the Williams driver. And CEST for McLaren, been showing a great run of form recently, will line up in 3rd place with a 1 minute 41.051, only 300ths of a second behind Karma. Then we have Chris, Zamis, Rhapsody, Twinkie, Gabox, Visha, Angel, Casquito, BTFU, Fizzimon, Yama, Holt, Chiri, Stryfium, Gorzieg, and then Maxime B and some idiot unable to set lap times for one reason or another. And now 22 laps plus a formation lap here around Spa for a 50% distance campaign. And it looks like the sun is shining, but we know here in Spa that can change very, very quickly, Stars.
Certainly can. Apparently it's going to be a cloudy race, so it looks like we shouldn't have any chances of rain as it goes so far, but you never know. Never know, but the drivers, like you said, big race distance in front of them. 44 gear changes, ironically enough, throughout this circuit. So it's very demanding. It's going to be interesting to see what these guys out of the top 10 have chosen to go with their tyre strategy. Obviously, like I mentioned, Casquito there knew that he was only going to improve by a little bit, so purposely pulls out of the lap there. So he's obviously wanting to start on a different compound of tyre. Obviously, there's no rain-dependent strategy in play, so maybe he thinks it's the faster strategy.
Yeah, do the alternative, start on those mediums and then go to the softs at the end for fresher rubber at the end of the race. But as they set off on their formation, that will get things set up very, very quickly for all your lovely viewers. So top 10, all starting on the softs, but outside of the top 10, we have Casquito and BTFU on those mediums. So it looks like Casquito committing to the medium to soft strategy, as is BTFU. Then we have Fizzimon and Yama in 13th and 14th, starting on the soft compound tyres. Holt in 15th on the mediums, Cheery in 16th on the soft, and then 17th down to last place, all on the mediums. That's Strifium, Gorzieg, Maxime B, and Some Idiot. But yeah, so these top 10 drivers, as we're currently riding on board with Becky B, the pole sitter and championship leader up there in first, and then we have Karma for Haas there in second, Sejos in third, Chris on his MRL debut with a solid showing in fourth for Racing Point, Zamas in fifth for Ferrari, Rhapsody in sixth for Mercedes, Twinkie in seventh for Renault, Gabox the Alfa Romeo in eighth ahead of the Alfa Tauri of Fischer in ninth, and Angel rounds out the top 10. 22 laps here around Spa, 7 kilometers, 19 turns, and this first lap, if previous races are anything to go by, it is going to be shaky. This race is one of attrition. I do remember personally back to season 2 where we had probably the worst finish rate of any of the races that Emerald has had between both tiers 1 and 2. Less than 50% of the drivers finished those races. I do believe it was 9 in tier 1 and 10 in tier 2 out of a full 24 both grids. So hopefully we'll see a few more than that finish of this one. I do believe we only had 13 or 14 finishes for tier 3 just later today. So here's a race of attrition, stars.
That it is, Macau. That it is. Obviously, you can see Becky B lines up on the right-hand side. It's a 261-meter dash to the source here, and my goodness, we've seen some accidents in the first. Well, in the years down the pass, it's going to be interesting to see. Hopefully, the drivers can keep it clean, and we can get through one lap without any VSCs, any safety cars. But some idiot, he's the last driver, takes his grid spot. So, Macau, take it away.
We're just waiting for the drivers to all set up here. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 red lights here at Spa for Emerald Americas. They go out very quickly. It's lights out and away they go. Looks like Becky B has gotten off to a pretty decent start, but Karma already looking around the outside of the Williams driver. Becky B has to leave him the room. There's already a yellow flag there. Maxime B, severe collision with Holtz, but the 2 leaders now going side by side as they make their way in the run towards Our Rouge. Who's going to yield? It is going to be Karma, as there is a virtual safety car and Angel is not moving.
Yeah, it was a rough start at the back there. I think Strifian might have gone a little bit too deep there and turned around Fizzymon. Fizzymon went into the pit lane exit wall, I'm afraid, and then Angel obviously got punted off as well. So yeah, it wasn't a great start at the back there.
We're just waiting for this virtual safety car to end, and then we'll get things back underway. These virtual safety car restarts, especially on the first lap, can be quite difficult to judge. You don't want to go too early, otherwise you will either lose a hell of a lot of positions or be slapped with a drive-through penalty, which at a track like this is pretty devastating. But we saw under those virtual safety car conditions, it looks like we might be getting underway very, very shortly, and that we are. It's green flag racing once again. There's an exchange at the back between Fizzymon and Strifian, but looks like Karma looking around the outside of Becky B into turn number 12. Can't exactly find that move there. Meanwhile, further back down the grid, looks like Vish has gotten a lot of wing damage, and he is falling back through this grid. Very, very unfortunate to see. He will definitely have to pit and get that one replaced. But as they make their way into the third sector of the lap, Karma 2.5 tenths behind Becky B. Chris not too far behind those two either. Looks like Maxime B having a little bit of a tussle there with Shuri. Shuri ahead of them for now. Gorzieg making his way past the Alpha Tauri. But to end at this first lap, it will be Becky B in the lead of things, followed by Karma, then Chris, Sejos, Rhapsody, Twinkie, Zamas, Gabox, and Coscrito. There's a yellow flag. Once again, there seems to be a massive pile-up towards the pit lane. And we have a lot of cars heading into the pits on the opening lap, stars.
Yeah, we certainly do. This is going to mix up the tyre strategies here, Macau. We had a lot of drivers in that first lap incident getting a lot of wing damage, so expect to see a lot of wings getting replaced.
Yeah, it's going to be difficult for those who start on the mediums. What do you go through? And there's a McLaren. Oh, no, that's just Codemasters doing their thing. I thought it was just speared right into the wall there on the Camel Straight there for a second. But it looks like it was just a false alarm. And this top train is absolutely tight
Certainly is, as Gabox goes for a dive into Ravage there. Zamis gives him the room. They're side by side. He's got the overtake button on, but he doesn't commit to the pass, and Zamis still holds on to P number 7.
Yeah, Yama as well up into 10th place. And Chris, the Racing Point reserve driver for this occasion, really hunting down that Haas in front of him. They made their way into the, well, turns 12 and 13. Rhapsody getting a little bit shaky there on the curbing of 13. Into 14 now, and now Stavilo 15. All the gaps seem to stay nice and calm. You can see the predicted pit stop strategy on your screen. Soft to medium around lap 8 or 9. And Gorziak has had a little bit of a spinneroonie, and he is facing the wall at the exit of 13.
Yeah, he certainly is. He just got on the curb a little bit too much there. Car propelled him all the way into the wall, so yeah, it doesn't seem like he's got too much damage.
Looks like Chris has maybe gone a little bit deep, and he has completely misjudged the chicane, and he has lost 3 spots as a result, all the way now down into 6th place. But we are on lap 3 now, ladies and gentlemen. DRS is enabled, and all these drivers are going to have some DRS. So running on board now with the Racing Point going up the Hill Stars.
Yeah, Chris, he's obviously on debut there, obviously very new to the game, as we've got a Sector 3 yellow flag. It's Arnhel who's actually retired. He's had a big collision, I should say, with Maxime Bean. It actually brings out the virtual safety car. So it looks like they were trying to go side by side there, and it just doesn't work.
Yeah,
that's 2 already.
Yeah, that's, well, Arnhel had a very, very unfortunate start to this race, and even more unfortunate, even more devastating is that his race has been cut extremely short. So the first driver out of this race is that Racing Point. We are currently on board with the other Racing Point of Chris under this virtual safety car. Maxine B heading into the pits once more. The second stop of the race, and DRS back now re-enabled as Swinky looks up the inside of Rhapsody. Oh, you got to really be brave to try that one, but Rhapsody, it looks like he's gotten a very, very bad restart. Chris to the inside of the Renault driver, trying to make his way past Twinkie. Twinkie taking the curb in there at turn 13, and it looks like Chris is cleanly through up into 5th place after that mistake at the bus stop chicane. So now 8/10 of the gap between himself and Rhapsody. But it looks like Zamis very, very close to the back of this Renault, as well as is Gabox, as is Cosquito. All these drivers very, very close together. We can see Gabox extremely close and extremely tight to the gearbox of that Ferrari. He puts on the overtake just a little bit. He's going to look to the inside, but Zamis defends, having a little bit of a look. And now Cosquito around the outside of turn 18. And a little bit of a tap there between himself and Gabox. Gabox struggling to put on the power, and now Yama finding his way past the Alfa Romeo. But Gabox defending to the inside, and we have a safety car.
Not too sure why or how.
Yeah, maybe just
maybe that damage on the track still, maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, it is at a very, very fast corner. Why it wasn't called earlier is beyond me, but so we've seen two virtual safety cars and a full course caution, a full safety car by lap 4 of this race. And it's an interesting call now for these drivers because it's a bit too early, I feel, for these medium tires. But if with the safety car that is going to prolong the life of them, we will be green flag running around lap 7 or 8, and that, my friends, is the optimal pit window for the medium compound tires. So I expect to see some of these leaders pit and use this opportunity, but that could lead to a very, very messy, very, very busy pit lane.
Yeah, it certainly has. Actually, Holt's here. He's I'm just on board with him. So he had to actually pit on the first lap, and he went onto the hard compound tires, and now he's gone onto the softs. So maybe he's going to use this opportunity where he believes most drivers are going to come in, and maybe these soft runners are going to put the hards on and go to the end. Not too sure. Maybe they're just going to go on the mediums and really struggle at the end. But he's going to go on the quicker tyre now, hopefully make his way up through the grid, and then maybe get back onto a quicker tyre at the end of the race. So maybe like soft to the end. I don't know. Maybe soft. Who knows? But he's really playing around with this tyre strategy recently, last couple of weeks.
Yeah, he's certainly wanting to go for the bold strategic calls. I don't know how well this one's going to work out for him, though. But I've been wrong before. But we'll just currently ride on board with Becky B as he makes his way into the pit lane. And a very, very easy call for all of these guys. I think they're all coming into the pit lane. and Casquito on those starting mediums will take lead of things in this race. But just have a look at this pit lane, Stars. Oh my goodness, it is busy.
We're going to get some drivers who are going to get held up here, surely.
Yeah,
Becky B, onto the hards. No mediums. Karma, onto the mediums. Whoa. Okay. Game on.
Yeah, that is game on. So Becky B playing it safe, going to the hard compound tire, and he's not the only one. Zamis and Twinkie as well onto that white striped hard compound tire. But the rest of these guys who pit, as well as some idiot who actually needed to go on the hards to go to the end of the race since he started on those mediums. But everyone else, they're on the hard compound tires, and there is quite the pace difference between the two compounds. So Casquito, BTFU are the only two not to pit under that safety car in the lead of things. Becky B on the hards in third, Karma in fourth on those mediums, Rhapsody in fifth, also on mediums, Chris in sixth, C-Joss in seventh, Zamis in eighth on those hards, as is Twinkie also on those hards in ninth, and Gabos will round out the top 10 for on those fresh mediums.
So, you know what I'd be thinking right now? If I was maybe like mid-pack, now safety car's probably going to stay out. What do you reckon? Two laps? Is it like Maxine B's got to catch all the way up? You could potentially sneak in before the safety car does its final lap and go onto mediums, and they should make it to the end comfortably.
Yeah, well, they're going to make it to the end comfortably anyway, right, regardless. They will be a little bit worn at the end of the race, but I don't think these medium runners should really have any issue making it to the end of the race. They just feel a little bit slidey for the last lap or two. But yeah, hard's definitely a safe call. Becky B has shown he does have the pace, like the raw pace compared to the rest of the field to make those hards work. But I really don't think that we'll be seeing anyone jump back into the pits onto a set of mediums, because I don't think it's worth it at this point. Maybe Vischer, because he won't really lose that many spots, but everyone else, like this grid is already bunched up. If Becky B were to pit now, he'd be going all the way down from third to about, well, 16th, 15th.
Yeah, true. It's going to make for an interesting race, especially if another safety car comes out.
Oh, absolutely, if another safety car comes out. And if it's around that pit window for the soft runners. Yeah. Definitely going to spice things up. Well, lap 6 of 22 in this race. If you're just joining us, ladies and gentlemen, we've already had 3 safety cars, 2 virtual, and now we are under a full safety car conditions, full course caution. So they make their way around. Looks like Gorzieg making his way, just trotting along down at the start finish straight. Looks like Strippium has caught up to the back of the queue, as has a Vischer. So Vischer committing to those hard compound tires, and now just waiting for Holtz, Gorzieg, and Maxime B to catch up to this queue. So we might actually see, given how long the lap is around here, the safety car in this lap, which would definitely be very, very nice. We want to have a little bit of racing, because I believe we've had about the equivalent of about a full lap of green flag running thus far in this Belgian Grand Prix.
Certainly feels like that.
Yeah, it makes it a little bit tough for us here in the commentary booth when there is a safety car called, because it's a very, very long lap regardless. And under safety car, I do believe the lap times are in the realm of 2.5 to maybe even 3 minutes.
Yeah, right. Certainly feels that way. Needless to say, we are here. Everyone has obviously fixed all their damage from the lap 1 incident, which obviously we've actually got an exchange.
Actually, no,
Twinkie
not everybody. Twinkie has hit the wall.
Oh no.
So the hard compound tire runner maybe trying to get some heat in the tires. We didn't quite catch that one on stream, but what is clear is that he has got left end plate damage, and he is down from his original position. I do believe that was in 9th, or even 7th, ahead of Zamis, down to last with wing damage, and the safety car has been called in this lap.
Yep, so as I say, there's no damage on the field, on the grid. We do have damage now. It's in position number 19, Twinkie. He's obviously going to have to come in and go onto those medium tires, I guess.
Yeah, get that wing replaced and fall a hell of a way back off the rest of this field. But Casquito will be leading things on the safety car restart. Trying to keep it nice and steady, making sure that the safety car has enough time to make its way into the pit lane. You can see there on the track map, that yellow dot, not the one that's leading the field.
His speed there. Stewards are going to be looking at this, Macau. His speed's fluctuating left, right, and centre, and Becky or BTFU nearly went into the back of him.
Yeah, well, the safety car now is in, and Casquito keeping things nice and trying to get the jump on things, but it hasn't quite worked. BTFU still about 4 cents behind, but Becky B are around the outside of the AlphaTauri. Do the hards have the grip compared to the slightly worn mediums? They might. They are now side by side, these two, as they make their way towards our Rouge. Looks like Becky B will have to concede. Karma slots in behind him. BTFU running a little bit deep at Radeon. Middle part of the corner. Now the overtake button on for both of these drivers. Who has the lower wings? It looks like it might be a even split. Becky B up the inside of the AlphaTauri. Can he find the move around into Lake Com? No, not quite. He gets forced onto the grass, and that's going to give Karma the opportunity to make his way past. And Rhapsody is going to go up the inside of turn 8 on the Williams. So an attempted move has meant that he's lost two spots. And Chris as well, around up the inside. Now they're outside for No Name. And Becky B's gone round! Becky B's in the wheel, in the wall. And Becky B's bad luck continues. He needs to be careful about rejoining this grid. And now there's 2 cars with damage on this grid. Now Twinkie and the championship leader, Becky B. And we have yet another virtual safety car.
He's got no wing. He's literally got nothing. He's carrying his wing back to the pit lane. Hey boys, can we just put this back on? My goodness. So that just goes to show, oh, and there it goes, the wing flying. Just goes to show there, Macau, maybe it wasn't the best idea to go on the hards, because you make one mistake like Becky B did there, where he gets forced a little bit wide, and you lose multiple positions. You obviously don't want to lose too many, because you're the championship leader, fights it a little bit, and that's what happens.
Yeah, I do believe there's a bit of contact between himself and Chris that might need to be investigated after the race. Chris did give him the big old squeeze at turn 9. But that is for the stewards to decide after the race. I don't think we'll be seeing anyone aside from Becky B coming into the pit lane, but that is absolutely devastating for the championship leader, as the virtual safety car has been lifted, and we are green flag running once again. So Karma in the net lead of things, the only driver, well, he is in the net lead of things. The front 2 yet to pit in this race. And we'll see if he has a bit more luck than Becky B did, trying to get past BTFU. A little bit too far back at the moment, but he's really got carrying that slipstream. Not quite enough though. All these drivers down the Camel Straight just holding it line astern. Casquito 1.2 seconds ahead of BTFU, so he's gotten away fairly nicely, both off the safety car and virtual safety car restarts. And no drive-through penalties to speak of. Becky B. We'll see what the gap is as he comes out of the pit lane, and it's not going to be something pretty.
That certainly isn't, and it's only climbing from here, Macau, so he's got a lot of work to do, as he's about 34 seconds behind Twinkie for P number 18.
Yeah, but at the front of things, 3/10 is the gap between Chris and Rhapsody. The Racing Point Reserve driver showing some solid pace in that Pink Panther.
Certainly is. Who else is showing pace here is some idiot. He's just been all over the back of Zamis. He's obviously lost a little bit of time through Sector 2 there. Obviously, it's very hard to follow a car so closely as he was, but I mean, I'm only expecting this move to get done pretty soon. He is using that overtake with the slipstream there, closing onto the back of Zamis, and my God, he is closing up the inside of Blanchimont there. Gets a move done well before the must-stop chicane, so that is another move that's inside the 10 now for some idiot on those hard compound tyres.
Yes, the American up into 9th place on those hards. Now the lead hard runner, as Gabok setting the fastest lap so far in this race, 1 minute 45.489. BTFU still falling a little bit behind Casquito, so maybe the AlphaTauri is struggling a little bit with pace. I don't see any wing damage, but it could just be that the Argentinian is very fast on these medium compound tires. And so, speaking of very fast, Yama 2.5 tenths.
Karma's going for a move. Oh no, he didn't. He pulled out of it. Sorry.
Yeah, Yama not close enough in this train to really make a move on Cedros, and now all these guys are trapped in that DRS train, and knowing some idiot's pace, he is going to be on the back of things fairly shortly, but we'll see how well he's able to do on those hard compound tyres, and it should be quite interesting.
Yeah, he will close that gap pretty soon to Garbox, and I think he'll work his way up there. But like you said, these front 6 guys, apart from Gasquito, we're all within DRS of each other, so it's going to be we are going to see some movement, as we do get that really close battle from P12 all the way down into P16 at the moment. The guys are again all within that DRS, so looks like we're going to see a bit of action over the next couple of laps.
Yeah, well, certainly is long overdue with all the safety cars that we've been having. But yeah, 3/10 now is the gap between Chris and Rhapsody. Not really gaining, if anything. Rhapsody's pulling away slightly from the racing point. So no opportunity there. I'll see how Holtz goes. He's on those softs, and he's reeling in this Ferrari. Has to get out of the throttle a little bit. Misses the apex of Blanchimont, but which way is he going to go? Striffium. Oh, that's a massive dive. And a bit too optimistic there for the Canadian. Rejoins the circuit, forces Maxime B1, and that's going to allow Vischer to get past both of them there. So a really, really optimistic move there for Holtz. He tried to go for it. I like the idea, but didn't quite
and look at that, good sportsmanship there by Holtz. Obviously he did hit Maxime B when he came back onto the track, and he's let him go. So yeah, that's really good sportsmanship, but the stewards will take note of that one if there is a report on the Holtzman.
Karma making his way past BTFU for the runner-up spot. He has now cleared that traffic. Fizzimon as well, getting past Chiri into Lecom. The movement is starting to happen, ladies and gentlemen. Becky B setting the fastest lap of the race so far, a 1 minute 44.815, as he attempts to catch back up to at least Twinkie. To have at least, well, know that he's not alone in this race.
Yeah, he'll have someone to battle. But it's quite interesting to see from Chris's point of view. Well, actually more CJOS's point of view when the drivers come through turn 10 and turn 11. There, you can just see how tough it is to follow the cars so closely as they all are. They're all just sliding with realistically just no grip whatsoever. But they are extremely close, as Rhapsody is all over the back of BTFU. Both drivers using their overtake there. Oh my goodness, this is going to end in tears because CRG Chris isn't that too far behind. Rhapsody actually pulls out of it. BTFU goes a little bit wide. Maxime P picks up 3-second time penalty, and Chris is all over the back of Rhapsody. He goes on the outside, which is going to be the inside. Rhapsody gives him the squeeze. CRG Chris goes, no thank you, I'm going to make that move, and gets the move done. And now CJOS has had a better run out of it as well. Rhapsody's going to get mugged here at this stage. He's going to have to pull the car up into turn number 1 as he does so. Holds the inside line there, and there is a bit of contact there between CJOS and Rhapsody, but all stations are held currently as they make the way down the hill. And Yamamoto, he has got the popcorn. He's ready for any mistake from these drivers at the moment.
Oh, the overtake button is on. CJOS, look at the speed in that McLaren to the inside. And he is going to get that move cleanly done before the braking zone of the straight. But there's a tap. Rhapsody trying to defend. That's a massive crash. Oh my goodness, who is he collected there?
Yeah, Yamamoto collected him a little bit, and then Gabox cleaned him up, and some idiot gets the move done into P number 8 there. But Rhapsody was not letting him by. Rhapsody did, I mean, realistically everything he could there, but obviously just a bang of tyres, and unfortunately, and C just goes around.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to see, especially since CJOS has been showing some great form recently. But yeah, it looks like all these drivers getting the elbows out. And, you know, I didn't realize track position was so crucial here, but at this point it might be, just to try and avoid getting into tussle with the other cars on what is a very fast and a very well, demanding circuit. It's a long lap, and it's all very fast corners on the edge of grip. Chris?
Certainly is.
Chris 3/10 currently behind BCFU. The clouds have come out as well, so that's a little bit scary with all the safety cars that we've been having. Oh, we might. Could we see some rain on the last few laps? We don't know. I'm sure the drivers will have a better idea than we do. Chris losing the rear out of turn number 19, and that is going to mean that he cannot make a move on BT into La Source. Turn number 1, again locking up on that front right. But he will certainly be trying it, and he's keeping that gap very tight indeed, using some of that battery as BT makes his way through. Karma, 3 seconds. Not going to help his campaign at all. Now Chris to the left-hand side. These guys having a drag race down the Camel Straight. BTFU backs out of that one. So Chris up into a podium place. And 1.8 seconds behind Karma. We'll see what the Race Point driver is able to do in clean air as Vizimon and Zamis having a little bit of an exchange. Zamis trying to hold on these hard compound tires. Vizimon, can he find the grip that he needs on these mediums? No, not quite. So makes his way down into turn 8 stars.
Yeah, he certainly does. Obviously he's losing a little bit of time here, gets a little bit slidey coming into No Name there by Fizimon, but is one of the closest battles on track currently. These drivers are really giving it all today. Like you mentioned, the elbows are coming out. A little bit further back there, Vischer is slowly catching on the back of Striffium. Runs a little bit wide there. That's going to be another warning for Vischer. I think that's going to be his second of the day. I think penalties are going to come into play right at the end there because there's no more pit stops for the majority of this field. So if you pick up these pit stops in the DRS trains, all you're going to do is you're going to go back. Sorry, if you pick up these penalties, sorry, my mistake. Yeah, you're going to fall right back into a worse off place.
Yeah, well, a few penalties already on this grid. Karma, BCFU, and Maxime B. As Chris sets a new fast lap of the race so far, a 10th faster than what we saw Becky B do in clean air, 1 minute 44.7, as he attempts to chase down that Haas driver for that runner-up spot, who actually does have a penalty. So, as it stands, Chris is in the net lead of this race. Mosquito and BTFU in first and fourth, respectively, the only two drivers yet to pit in this race. And Rhapsody, right on the back of BTFU. BTFU has no DRS, has no answer to the flying Brazilian into turn number 1, and BTFU backs out of that one before any more catastrophes happen. Rhapsody up now into 4th place. This is now again an exchange between Fizimon and Zamis. Zamis down into 11th place out of the points. Sejos falling a little bit behind the Red Bull of Summit, but now he's got the other Red Bull of Fizimon behind him, trying to chase him down.
All over the back of him as well.
Yeah, speaking of all over the back of him as well, we have Karma, who is slowly closed that gap up to Cosquito. He's trying to push and keep that gap growing, but it's actually shrinking at the moment as Chris sets a purple middle sector on this current lap. He's really pushing for that DRS. 1.1 seconds is the gap. And it looks like he might be a little bit out of luck on this one. This is yellow flag, and Striffium's out of this race at Stavilo, and we have a second safety car. All these guys are coming into the pits. Chris is into the pits. Rhapsody is coming into the pits. BTFU is going to come into the pits as well, surely. Gabox coming into the pits. All these drivers are coming into the pits. And some idiot on these Haas is going to lead the race.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. Striffium comes out of the first right-hander, gets onto the grass or the green apron, so to speak. Bangs the throttle on, gets a little bit squirrely, straight into the inside wall, and then the car ends up parked in the middle of the track, unfortunately with no front tyres.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to see Striffium go. He's been having a rough season, man.
Yeah, he has.
Really,
yeah,
really
100%.
rough season. Really, really rough season. But we hope that things are looking up. But things are now looking up for Becky B. He was going to come into the pits, put on a set of fresh, soft compound tyres like the rest of his fellow competitors. He'll have about 7 or 6 laps to go. He will be at the back of this grid, but at least he will now have a chance to at least maybe salvage a couple of points if he's able to really show us an overtaking masterclass.
I think at this stage, his goal is just to get points. He's got the opportunity to now, so he's been given a lifeline. I think just grab as many points as he can. He's not going to battle for the top step, but I mean, if he can grab something, it's always going to be better than nothing.
Yeah, it's damage limitation ever since that first safety car restart. He's hoping that it goes a little bit better the second time round. Why Submitted is now out on those hards, I am puzzled.
I think he wants a challenge. If he went on to soft seat Macau, let's be honest, he would have won the race. He would have caught everyone and just gone away with
he
it.
would have been in about 7th or 8th. So he might have, but he would have had to really get through that traffic. If he really wanted to challenge, he could have put on mediums, but yeah, now on these hards, he's going to have 0 grip, and with Casquito behind him, who now has stolen the effective lead of things. Well, some of it is in lead of things, but it shouldn't. I don't expect some in it to really be able to hold off Casquito on 8-lap-old hards compared to fresh softs. He is quick, but I don't know if he's that quick in comparison.
Yeah, I guess we're going to have to wait and see here. It's going to make for an interesting last little run to the line. What are we going to have? We're going to have, what, 6 laps? No, 7 laps.
Yeah, I do
Green
believe
flag running.
Yeah, well, I do believe we will have 7 laps. As Becky B, Twinkie, and Holtz are catching up to the safety car queue.
Ballsier comes into the pits, goes onto the soft tyres, so he's going to have 1 lap fresher softs than everybody else towards the end.
And there you go, they come out the Mercedes crew. Let's see how well this pit stop is. Doesn't need to be perfect, but it is. 80 kilometers an hour, the Mercedes making his way down the pit lane on those fresh soft compound tires. So the only drivers not on softs are Zamis in 11th, Twinkie in 16th, both on fresh mediums, and then our race leader, Some Idiot, on the what is 9-lap-old hards. You see him already weaving under the safety car, trying to get as much temperature as he can into those tires, because he knows, he's experienced enough to know that that is going to be a tough ask to get temperature into those hards for the safety car restart, to not get absolutely mugged by not just Casquito, but probably Karma, Chris, and Rhapsody as well.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Ladies and gentlemen, leave your predictions down in chat. Do you think Some Idiot's going to hold on here, or do you think he's going to get mugged like we've been talking about? It's going to be interesting. I think if Casquito does get past Some Idiot very, very soon or very quick, I think Some Idiot's going to make it very difficult for everybody else to get through. So it could be a race changer.
Yeah, it could be win number 2 for Casquito. After that, well, another great strategic call in Silverstone about a month ago. So, yeah. Well, it wasn't really a month ago, a couple of weeks ago. Was that Silverstone race. We've had quite a few shock winners as of late. We had Holtz last week in Hungary. I believe before Hungary is indeed Silverstone, where Casquito won that one.
CEST, I believe, as well.
Yeah, well, CEST has been really showing his form, showing that he does have the pace to hang with the top dogs as of late. The safety car now has been called in from race control. The lights on that safety car have gone out, and Some Idiot will become the de facto safety car as we all now ride on board.
I think his best play here is to go right to the line. Because if he goes before the bus stop chicane, he's going to have no traction on cold hards. He'll probably lose a spot before turn 1.
Yeah, well, certainly is up to the head of the Pirates, Mr. Jack Sparrow, to lead things away. Chris sitting in 4th, currently riding on board with the racing point. Safety car's now in the pit lane, so it's at whenever Some Idiot is ready. And it looks like he's gone.
What a start.
There we go. That's what you like to see. At least if you're a Red Bull fan, yeah, you really did need that. But how long is it going to last? He goes a little bit deep at La Source on those cold, hard compound tires. But it looks like Karma right on the back of Casquito as well. No DRS, of course, for a couple of laps on this safety car restart. No real movement just yet. But Chris, 1.5 tenths behind the Haas driver. Can he find what he needs? Vischer, 3 seconds. That's going to be big for the AlphaTauri. So now both AlphaTauris with 3-second time penalties. No moves as of yet on these guys.
Yama also picks up 3 seconds as well, so that's going to impact his race, especially when he's down in P8, the runner-up currently, the championship. But Casquito down into 3/10 away from Some Idiot, so he's really closing as they go through the middle part of the track here.
Yeah, this is where the softs are really going to bring their own in all of these high-speed corners. Some Idiot has to scrub up a little bit more speed. Chris, very close to the back of that Haas. But still no way doing just yet. And speaking of close, it's Vischer up the inside of Cherry. into turn number 12, and the AlphaTauri is going to make that move cleanly for 13th place. So a very, very nice move, and he's going to try and make as much time as he can to hold on to those positions after the penalty is applied at the end of lap 22.
That's it. Becky B's made a 1 spot on this first flying lap. His next target is the Holtzman. So he is on the move.
He is indeed on the move, and that gap between Samir and Casquito has been dwindled, has absolutely been distinguished, or extinguished, I should say. 3/10 now the gap between the Red Bull and the Renault driver. Casquito setting the fastest lap of the race so far. And here we go, 2/10 is the gap. This shouldn't be too much of an issue. He's going to try it before DRS gets enabled. Does he have the straight line speed? Some idiot keeping it tight to the right hand side, trying to defend, brings it back over to the racing line. Isn't quite there, but Rhapsody up the inside of Chris. A massive dive. There's contact between the two again. Chris, 3 seconds for cutting that chicane. That might need to be reviewed at the end of the race, but boy oh boy, Rhapsody is really impatient in that Mercedes car. He's found the move into turn number 8 a lot cleaner than his attempt into turn 5, and that's Mercedes up into 4th place now. Chris down into 5th.
Yeah, elbows are out once more for Rhapsody. He's pushing hard. He's had some really shocking results over the last couple of weeks now, so he's really trying to put himself back up there, maybe even try and snag a podium if he can, but he's losing the back end here. He's been losing it all race, so obviously his setup's very loosey-goosey. Yeah, he's close on the back here, obviously effectively on the podium at the moment.
Some idiot doing quite well to keep the gap at bay, but I don't know how well it's going to last once DRS does get enabled. He's been using a lot of battery there, Stars. The Red Bull driver down to 25%. Casquito, well, he has just under double of that. He's so much later on the brakes going into the bus stop chicane, as is Chris and Rhapsody. Those two are fighting once again. Chris clean around the outside of turn 19. And that is the racing point back up into 4th place. Now,
yeah, Rhapsody's not happy. You guys, actually, for a send down into turn number 1, Macau actually hits Chris, hits a pit lane wall as well. So, and now all the drivers behind. BTFU, Gabox is all over the back of him. And Yamamoto, like I said, has got the popcorn as they come into Eau Rouge. Side by side through Eau Rouge. It doesn't normally work. It has worked this time through Radeon, and they all hold positions after Gabox gets the move done. But now DRS is wide open. It is a drag race, and Rhapsody is touching the back of Chris here. He's lost a bit of an end plate as well on the Campbell Straight. Goes for a dive, gets the move effectively done, and BTFU gets spun by Gabox. BTFU's in the wall.
Oh no, you hate to see that. All these cars coming around. Looks like there's an exchange between Holtz and Twinkie as well coming through. Now Gauzier and BT, he has to pit to change that front wing, and that is the AlphaTauri's hopes and dreams crushed in a single corner. But man, oh man, that move out in Eau Rouge and Radeon by Gabox. Ooh, that gave me Mark Webber and Fernando Alonso vibes, so I do say so myself. As there's now a yellow flag, there's a Renault off, and Casito.
Oh my goodness, that was dangerous. He must have had a big accident there with some idiot, I think. They must have touched. We missed that one.
Yeah, Casquito, I'm not quite 100% sure know what happened between him and some idiot. But what I am sure of is now he has lost out on this, the front of the soft runners. He is now down into 5th place. Now Chris, 1/10. We've seen these two bang wheels quite a few times before. Rhapsody,
This is getting naughty.
This is getting definitely, maybe some black and white flags need to be shown to the...
Oh, Gasquino gets punted. He's been spun around from P2 all the way down into P13 now.
Oh my goodness. If things couldn't get any worse for the Renault driver, they now have Chris up the inside of La Source Becky B, the fastest lap of the race so far. Cedros making his way past Yama as well.
No.
These two are going to go side by side. They're going to try it. They're going to try what with Gabox did a moment ago. Side by side through our rouge. Now into Radeon. They keep it clean. Do they? No, not quite. There's a tap now between... Oh my goodness, between Cedros and oh my goodness, these tin cars are happening once again now, but...
Oh, Chris touch again, and Chris, oh, he's been pushed into the wall there. He's lost an end plate, I do believe, as they're coming into Lecom. So these drivers here are just not happy with each other at all, I don't think, today.
They're not happy with it. Chris taking a trip to the grass, and he's just seeing all the positions just trickle down. He's now down into 13th place. 10-second time penalty for his troubles.
Oh no, what a shame.
Well, this race just got interesting. CEST letting his teammate through to allow him to get the best run possible to maximize points for McLaren. Casquito up the inside of Becky B. He's trying to hold it, but Becky B is going to take that 11th place, so he is only 1 place away from points. Vischer all over the back of CEST as they make their way through Stavilo. And oh my goodness, this race has been, the stewards going to have a little work to do after this one, if I do say so myself.
Oh dear, they will, Macau. It's going to be a fill day on the reporting central, but we've got to have a look at the front of this race. Karma now has DRS on some idiot, but he has got a 3-second time penalty. Some idiot can just hold off for that little bit longer. Maybe even stay within DRS if Karma gets past. Some idiot wins the race.
Yeah, well, there's only 3 laps to go in this one. Lap 20 of 22, ladies and gentlemen. You can see that red light flashing from the Red Bull in front of him. Is Karma going to go for the move here? He needs to if he wants to have any chance of winning this race. Overtake, DRS enabled. Some idiot goes aggressively to the left-hand side, but it's no match for the Haas driver. Karma cleanly ahead into Lake Compton number 5, and now he has 3 laps to pull out a second per lap on the Red Bull behind him. And it's going to be quite the ask as Vischer and CEST having an exchange there. Looks like Vischer's gotten past. Now it's Becky B's turn to try and make his way back into the points. No penalties as of yet for the Williams driver, so he's done well to keep it clean. He has, effectively now in P8 of this race. But he's going to want to try and not get held up by this McLaren, as he is going to be holding up the championship leader, allowing Maxime B to get further ahead. Fizimon and Zames getting very, very close together. Fizimon, he's lost the rear at turn 12, and that Red Bull is around.
And some idiot, Macau, has done enough to stay within DRS as well. Oh, actually, it's going to be close. It's going to be tight.
It's going to be very, very close. Both drivers with barely any battery. What's the gap going to be as they come across the detection point? 9.96.
That's what he needed. He needed that, Macau. He needed that very big to just hold on for one more lap.
Zames and Maxime. Zames looking around the outside into the bus stop chicane. He's going to cut a little bit of turn 18, trying to get the best exit possible. It's at this point where the softs are going to be starting to degrade a little bit. Not great news if you are a Haas fan. But looks like he is trying to pull away that gap. Meanwhile, Zames doing all that he can to pass that McLaren of Maxime B. It isn't going to be to any avail just yet. Now the two Renaults very, very close together. 3/10 between those two. Both of them will have DRS on CEST in front of them. And look at the run.
CEST has got 0%.
Look at this run that Twink is going to have. Casquito as well. Two Renaults going side by side. A massive dive. He's going to try to get both. He's trying to get both. And Twinkie has spun around a little reset.
He's reset the track.
Reset the track there. That's going to be looked at heavily.
Oh no. Thanks from Renault.
Yeah, well, no thanks from Renault. In this situation. Oh my goodness, this race. Absolutely crazy. But what isn't crazy there is now Karma has now broken DRS, but he's lost the rear. He's lost the rear at turn 13. Some idiot is now going to get back past the Haas driver. And now, oh my goodness, he has to do it all over again. And
would you let him go if you're some idiot right now? Just to hold on to the DRS?
Oh, absolutely not.
You wouldn't?
No.
I would hold on to it before the bus stop chicane, and then after the bus stop I'd let him go on the main straight, and then you get DRS again for the last lap, because he's got a 3-second time penalty.
Yeah, well, if you're some idiot, this is big news as they come across to start the final lap of the race. But if you're Karma, this is not looking good.
No, he's not. He's not going to pull out 3 seconds on, probably going to be just less than 3/4 of a lap, because I'm assuming he's going to get the move done into Lecombe. As we have Gorziak, who spun around again in the exact same spot, unfortunately, but Karma gets the move done for the braking zone. Now he's got half a lap, just over half a lap to pull 3 seconds. Can he do it? No is the answer.
Certainly, I won't never say never, but it's certainly going to be very, very difficult as Yama on the last lap goes up the inside of Gabox. into like a little bit swirly there on the exit. Can Gearbox find the run he needs? No, but he will find a 3-second time penalty. Does the Alfa Romeo. And that is going to be a massive, massive dent in what could have been a very, very solid haul of points for the Alfa Romeo team. Make it 2 weeks in a row where they get a solid haul of points. But Maxime B, 7/10 is the gap. We'll have a quick look at penalties on this last lap. All these guys have 3 seconds. Vischer down to 6. Chris has 13, BCFU 9, and Goziek 3. Everyone else having the 3-second time penalties. And yeah, we'll see how things go on the final lap of things. Samidia, he's within 6/10, so unless there's a catastrophic bus stop chicane for the Red Bull driver, he will be taking home the full 25 points of this race. But this battle for the final, well, it is 4th place, is certainly shaping up to be quite the interesting one. None of these drivers have any battery left, but as they come across the line, it is going to be some idiot, the head of the Pirates, Jack Sparrow, taking away yet another race win from all these drivers in the Americas division. Karma will have to settle for second best, and Rhapsody in the third, and Zamas up into 4th on the penalties. Yama up into 5th. Becky B up into 6th after being last at the safety car restart. 34 seconds behind the nearest car, and he will come across to collect at least some points for his campaign. Gabox in 7th for Alfa Romeo. Maxime B in 8th for McLaren. Cascator in 9th. And Vischer in 10th to round off the points scorers, and Fizimon will take the fastest lap. No, Chris will.
Yeah, and they steal that away from Karma, because Karma had it in P number 2, so that's going to give him a couple, well, one less point on his charge of moving his way up the driver's standings.
Wow, what a race. Americas never disappoints.
I called it though, didn't I? No one had faith in me.
Yes, a very, very nice job from you stars, and a very, very nice drive from Submidin. He does, yet again, complete the last to first challenge here in the Americas division, but it wasn't quite as clear-cut as ones he's done previously. The Red Bull Pirate sitting there on the top step of the podium. Karma, well, he had the opportunity to steal that race win, but a little mistake there on the second to last lap. In the middle sector has meant he has to settle for second best, and Rhapsody will finish off the podium. So the race results here on your screen. The last of first challenge has been completed for Mr. Some Idiot. He will take 25 points away from all these drivers in the Americas division. Karma, the Argentinian, in second place, doesn't move from his grid slot. He will take home a good haul of points for the Haas squad, and Rhapsody in third place, beating out his 2 main championship rivals, the 2 Williams cars. Zamas in 4th place, a very, very solid haul of points for the Ferrari driver, up from 5th on this grid, keeping things nice and clean. Yama in 6th for Williams, ahead of his teammate Becky B in 6th. Gabox, the Chilean, for Alfa Romeo, will take 7th place. It could have been so much more if he had avoided that 3-second time penalty, but alas, it wasn't meant to be, as was Maxime B. 8th place for the Canadian, for the McLaren team. Casquito in 9th place, the other Argentinian. A very bit of an unfortunate race, was fighting at the front of things for quite a while, and has stolen the effective race lead at one point at the second safety car, but alas, again, it wasn't meant to be. And Vischer rounding out the points for AlphaTauri, so at least AlphaTauri gets 1 point for what was a dreaded day in the office. Chiri in 11th place, Josimir Siano points the Spaniard, Twinkie in 12th place, Sejos in 13th, Holt in 14th, Fizimon in 15th, Chris in 16th with the fastest lap, BTFU in 17th, Gorziek in 18th with Strifium, and Angel unable to finish this one. Unfortunate to see those two go, but you know, sometimes things happen. And yeah, what any words to describe that race that we just saw this evening, Stars?
Oh, I think if you're going to put it into a storyline, boring, amazingly crazy, and the ending of, again, the Americas race. It was just sensational towards the end there. Like, obviously, we had all those safety cars at the start of the race. Everything was pretty held back, and obviously the elbows were out a little bit, but my goodness, after that second or third safety car, that was when it got naughty. There was a lot of questionable racing going on there. I'm afraid it's not what you want to see too much, but a lot of drivers I think are going to be sending in their reports. Stewards are going to be one busy bunch of people, I think.
Certainly a lots of discussions to be had. Just waiting to see if there's any other interviews. I don't think we'll get anyone aside from our race winner, at least going off previous podium interviews. So we might as well get things underway now. Joining us in the commentary booth is Mr. Jack Sparrow, head of the Pirates, and once again, a very, very interesting race for you. I doubted your call to stay out on the hards, but you made it work and completed the last to first challenge yet again. So how are you feeling after, taking away 25 points from all these drivers today?
Oh man, I'm still trying to get my voice back. Oh man, you know what? I think somebody said in the chat. I was in voice call with about 6 people. We're running through that race, just having some fun with that. And I told them we're going for trophies. We're not going for points. So I stayed out, and I didn't think I was going to be able to hang on for the win, but I just managed it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it.
Yeah, just one question from me before I hand things off to Stars. What was going through your mind knowing that you're out here on the safety car restart on not old hards, but they've certainly had a few laps done on them. I think there were about 8 laps sold at the restart, and pretty much everyone behind you is on fresh softs. Just what is going through your mind at that point in the race?
Okay, so I have been in that situation before. I was on mediums and I was third on the restart. But in this case, I just knew I control the restart. I just need to get a good launch, and I knew where I was going to launch, where I could do it cleanly. I could get a good run off without, and maybe sneak away for pull a gap. Because I knew if I could keep the lead on that first lap, I'd have a shot. The longer I keep fighting, the more chance I have to hang on for the win. And I think I don't know if you saw my battery. I was draining everything, every lap, trying to just stay in front into sector two. Because if I stayed front into sector two, I'd have a shot. I had a car that was good in sector two, and just yeah, I just knew if I controlled it and I had control of my own destiny. If even if I didn't win, I'd be able to get some better points than 8th place. So just took a shot at it, and it played out. It paid out, man.
At that, it did well. Congratulations on the race win. Stars, any questions for our race winner here this evening?
Just one, mate. Obviously, you held the lead at the safety car restart there, and obviously it was a really good restart, as that I might just add. When you did see the battling going on, I actually said it. It was Karma who was having the issue with the Casquito, not yourself. When you did see all the battling going on, you thought, obviously you saw that all the drama which happened before that. Did you think in that moment there, I think I might actually win this because Karma had the 3 second time penalty, or were you just like, oh, he's going to get past me and just run off into the distance?
I mean, I figured if Carmelesina got by me, as soon as he got by me lap 20, I'm thinking I'm racing that 3 second penalty. And then I just, like, in my mind, if I could make them keep fighting, if I could make them burn up their softs, because I knew my tires were just going to come to me the longer we went green. So I had to, as long as I fought and stayed in front, I'd make them burn their softs up and I'd have a shot at it. And I knew making them fight, that was going to be very important from the outset. So I yeah, just keeping them
Yeah.
fighting, keep fighting for everything I have, and hopefully it was enough, and thankfully it was.
Yeah, well, I mean, needless to say, well done. Great result again. Driver of the day, last to first. I think I was the only person in chat in the comms booth who backed you from the get-go from after that safety car restart. So, well done, and yeah, good luck for next week if you manage to get a drive for the Pirate Gang.
Thank you, sir. Thank you guys for having me.
Thanks, mate.
Well, that will conclude the interviews. Unfortunately, Karma and Rhapsody not available for one. But yeah, what a crazy, crazy 2 races that we have had today, ladies and gentlemen, around Spa. Any Stars, any closing remarks before we go ahead and raid a lovely member of the F1 community?
Just that, once again, Americas never disappoints. We've had 2 amazing races so far. We've had the Tier 3 action, which was earlier on this morning, and then we also had the Americas just now. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you again for coming out and enjoying what I mean is week in, week out, great racing. So hope to see you for the next big event.
Yes, next week these guys will be heading to the Temple of Speed to cap off the European season. It is of course Monza for the Italian Grand Prix. So that will be next week, same time, same place. But the next race in the 5 of Belgian Grand Prix will be the Tier 2 guys as they take to the track tomorrow at 8 p.m. British summertime and 3 p.m. for those of you on the East Coast. And that is shaping out. I mean, if it's anything like the 2 races that we've seen already, it's going to be action-packed for one reason or another. So you'd be a fool not to hit that follow button and get notified when we do go live next time. And once again, I just want to give a quick shout out to our massive, our partners, Next Level Racing, for helping us grow the sim racing community. They have some great sim rigs, so !NLR, or use the link down in the panels below to check out their website. They have some great products to take your sim racing experience to the next level. And with that, I do believe that is everything. So we will be back tomorrow for Tier 2, but Stars and I will be back next week for the Italian Grand Prix for the Americas division, and we'll have Stryfium and Unicorn tomorrow for Tier 2. So thank you all for tuning in, and we will see you guys in the next race.
See you guys.